Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of these end times. Well, a very important development occurred a couple of hours ago, and this just came across the internet. And this is an article found on LifeSite News, and here's the headline. I don't know if you can see that or not. And what it says is, Pope says Schonborn, that's Cardinal Schonborn, interpretation on communion for remarried is the final word. Would you believe Pope Francis is passing the buck? Well, I'm not surprised. He really does not want to take responsibility for going against the words of our Lord. Now, as I said, the date line on this is Saturday, April the 16th, today at 2:57 Eastern Time. That's a couple of hours ago. And here's what this article goes on to say, and this is by John Henry Weston, LifeSite News. On the flight, now listen to this, this is amazing. Returning from Greece, Pope Francis was asked if the apostolic exhortation, that's Amoris Laetitia, contained a change in discipline that governs access to the sacraments for Catholics who are divorced and remarried. The Pope replied, "I can say yes, period." That's amazing in itself. That's very clear. Usually it takes him 260 pages to express an idea. But evidently this reporter got out of the Pope what he has been trying to do for the last 3 years, ever since he became pontiff. And that is to take the daily sacrifice away from the prince, which is exactly what the false prophet does, and which I described in my last video. And this is a follow-up to that video. And I am asking you, my subscribers who are Catholic, let me know what your bishop or your priest says about this initiative by Pope Francis in the homilies or in your parish bulletins this weekend. I would very much like to know. Now, the news is not all bad. In the book of Revelation, Wormwood, the false prophet, only causes 1/3 of the waters to go bitter. The waters refers to the remnant Catholics, and only 1/3 will follow Pope Francis, the false prophet. Only 1/3 of the rivers and fountains of waters go bitter, and the fountains refers to the clergy, specifically the bishops. So you should be able to, in other words, find some priest who will not go along with giving communion to divorced and remarried Catholics. You must pin your priest down, though. Don't let him fudge this question. This is extremely important because, as I said, Holy Communion will not be valid if your priest determines ahead of time that his intention will be to follow what Pope Francis is doing. If his intention is to give communion to divorced and remarried Catholics, following what this false church is now promulgating, his communions will not be valid, just like communions in Protestant churches. They give communion to the divorced and remarried. Their consecrations are not valid. The consecrations in Pope Francis' church will not be valid either. This is the time that we Catholics must flee the field, as Jesus warned. When you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, then you must flee. And I am prepared to flee, although my parish priest has indicated he will not go along with this change. God bless him for that. And as always, if you would like more information about my ministry here on YouTube, visit my thirdeaglemedia.com website.